Welcome to Weekly Digest, where we highlight the work of ministers of government as they push the administration's development agenda. Addressing the decade-old conflict between Berbice rice and cattle farmers, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa visited the region on Saturday.
We know for a fact that almost all around the country have this conflict existing, but this here is 5274. This has been existing for a long time, and I think it got very intense for the last 2 weeks. I decided to come up here today to meet with both the cattle and rice farmers. We know for a fact that the problem exists here, as I said, for a long time. Because of that, I was able to give to the cattle farm and rice farmers a fence. I built a fence from number 52 to number 66. That cost us $14 million to keep away the animal from the cultivation. But it seems that there are some people who are very unjust. Some of them are cutting the fence and putting the animals into the cultivation area.
The minister will also address the issue faced by the cattle farmers and the local pound.
I met with both sides. I think that I made some proposal, and I said that this proposal will be that we'll have representatives from the cattle farmers and representatives from the rice farmers. And the Ministry of Agriculture will also have representatives as rangers to patrol the areas, so that we would not have this kind of acquisition where they are saying that people are collecting these animals from the street and the dams and take it to the pond. Based on the pond issue, that I asked the Attorney General, because we know for a fact that the NDC, they have some ponds here in this community, but I don't know if those ponds are gazetted or are legal. So I've asked the Attorney General to give me a legal opinion of what I should do. So he'll give me in the coming week, he'll give me some advice on those issues. But I am hoping that the system that we have put in place here will help. Also, we'll have the police involved in the matter. The police will provide security. And I think that with the cattle and the rice farmers coming together, and with the leadership from the Ministry of Agriculture, GLDA, and the police, we can get some solution to this problem.
St. Winifred Secondary School Agriculture Science and Home Economics Department on Monday hosted an exhibition to showcase locally made products, arts, and crafts. It was also to expose youths to agribusiness. The event was hosted in observance of Agriculture Month and World Food Day 2022. Minister within the Public Works Ministry, Deodat Indar, attended the exposition and delivered the feature address.
So, as production grows and expands offshore, more food for more people will be required. That means that more planting and cultivation has to happen. More farms have to expand. We have to go into more different kind of products. We have to provide the kind of food that the consumers want to eat.
The PPPC government has been steadfast in its effort to improve production levels in all areas of the agriculture sector. Rice farmers of Windsor Forest commended the intervention by Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa, where concerns were raised about the paddy planting and harvesting process and the conditions of the dams due to the inclement weather. Minister Mustafa assured the farmers that extension officers of the Guyana Rice Development Board, GRDB, will work along with them to root the remaining paddy, and GRDB will provide a daily report of the rice fields within the region to provide assistance to the farmers.
GRDB will work along with the farmers to see how much yield or how much bags per acre they will harvest. And based on that, we'll see how we can also assist the farmers. Based on the visit, I think that in another day from now, we can have harvesting start once again, recommence. Because although some of the land was off, I think now for the last couple of days we have seen that the rain or the weather has held up. And I think that with the condition that presently prevails, we can have harvesting recommence. So I'm very optimistic that the amount of rice or amount of paddy, that remain in the field can be harvested.
With the PPPC government's vigorous efforts to develop the livestock sector of the economy, some $177.7 million was allocated to offer extra funding for the Black Belly Sheep project.
Very shortly, as I am speaking here, in 2 days' time, we will receive the entire set of sheep from Barbados to start that program that the president would have launched a few months back at MMHC.
This undertaking will also see Guyana integrally involved in the move to reduce the CARICOM's food import bill by 25% by 2025. Minister Mustafa noted that the government has injected massive budgetary allocations to increase production across the country. The minister also addressed the agriculture issues faced by the farmers of Belladrum, Paradise, and neighboring communities. Farmers requested assistance in the form of better drainage for their farmlands and plants and materials to expand their cultivation, such as seed paddy. Importantly, Minister Mustafa provided a breeding bull to the Prophet Rising Sun Farmers Group to boost production. This fulfills part of the commitment made by President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali. Minister Mustafa reiterated that Region 5 is slated to be the livestock capital of CARICOM.
The livestock sector. The livestock sector is important because a lot of foreign exchange. So we want to be self-sufficient first of all, and then we want to be a net exporter. So we have already achieved self-sufficiency in the poultry sector. As a matter of fact, we are now producing all the poultry needs for Guyana. That is why we are now developing pastures. We are trying to make the scheme more conducive.
Minister Mustafa noted that some 105,000 acres are available to farmers for rice production in the MMA scheme. The effort will advance the nation's rice production significantly. A total of 87 persons from various communities graduated with several skill sets offered by the Labour Ministry's Board of Industrial Training, BIT, at the Hurstil and Assembly of God Global Outreach Center on Sunday. The graduates received certification in information technology, catering, garment construction, cake decorating, cosmetology, and floral designs and event decor. Labour Minister Joseph Hamilton urged the graduates to continuously upskill themselves with complementary training programs offered by BIT.
One skill or one talent person will not survive the world that is before us. Let me say that again. As good as you are in whatever field you're qualified, a one skill or one talent person will not survive this world 5 to 10 years. So, you need to be multi-skilled, you need to be multi-talented. So when a door is closed, you can walk into another door. You already got a skill.
To safeguard women and girls, a CAD $2.25 million Equal Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights SRHR project was launched on Monday at the Canadian High Commissioner's residence in Georgetown. The project will target women and girls from regions 1, 7, 8, and 9, which include Venezuelan migrants, Indigenous women and girls, persons of diverse gender identities, gender expressions and/or sexual orientation, persons living with disabilities, and sex workers.
I believe this initiative, another partnership which sees international and local partners coming together to address the key issue of sexual and reproductive health and rights, could not have been timelier. I say this because it is concentrated in regions 1, 7, 8, and 9, where we do acknowledge, as a government, we need to amplify the efforts that have been made. Dr. Hamilton's report on the Ministry of Health's work is a reassuring one because it really sets out very clearly a vision to, I would say, encourage more services, robust services, accessible services, and inclusive services.
Residents in Region 2 will no longer have to travel to Georgetown to get their dialysis treatments, as the Health Ministry commissioned a new dialysis center on Monday. The center is housed in the Suddy Regional Hospital compound and is a joint venture between the Government of Guyana and the private sector.
It is important that we have dialysis because it is very inconvenient for people. Traveling all the way, going up to Georgetown, and when you get your dialysis to come back down, it's really problematic for people.
He also emphasized the need for preventative measures to minimize the need for dialysis.
So this is something that we have to work more on to make sure that we can prevent these complications from happening. And by doing so, we'll prevent people from needing dialysis. That's ultimately the dream. But we're not going to get there in a hurry. And that's why we need to provide dialysis across the country.
Residents of Essequibo will also benefit from a new water ambulance to facilitate the delivery of health services. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony on Monday commissioned a $24 million ambulance equipped with a 250 horsepower engine.
This is a recent addition that we have, and they would be going down this river here to make sure that the communities here can be properly serviced.
In addition, the minister launched the pharmacy assistant training program in Region 2. Approximately 27 persons will benefit from training in the compressed pharmacy assistant curriculum. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony noted that with the expansion of the healthcare system, the need for medical personnel increases.
The easiest thing to do is to be able to build the facility and equip it. The hardest one is to make sure that we have adequate staff to be able to run the facility. And so what you're seeing here today and what we're trying to do is to make sure that we can start training more and more people and to be able to do this training in the region.
Addressing the recent announcement of free CT scans, the Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony on Tuesday noted that physicians would recommend if a patient needs to have a CT scan, since the process is similar when recommended an X-ray to be done.
And once they are recommended, they will go to the imaging section of the hospital, and if it's a non-urgent case, they'll probably make a booking. They'll tell them when to come back. If it's an urgent case, obviously they'll get it.
Minister Anthony noted that the free CT scans will also be offered at the new hospitals. The government has already laid the groundwork for the development of a number of new healthcare facilities. Committed to its promise to build a world-class healthcare system in Guyana, the government is moving ahead with the construction of 7 new hospitals that will deliver quality health services to Guyanese in all regions. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony, in a recent interview, said the mobilization phase for the construction of the hospitals has been completed.
Well, I think we have made significant progress. We have 2 main companies that are working on these hospitals. So the first one, which is the pediatric and maternal hospital, that's a 256-bed hospital. It's located in Ogle, and we have already handed over the site to the contractor.
A team of government ministers comprising of Housing and Water Minister Colin Crowell, Tourism, Industry and Commerce Minister Oni Dwalron, Minister within the Office of the Prime Minister Kwame McCoy, and Minister within the Public Works Ministry Deodat Indar conducted a road and infrastructure inspection in Beefield Sophia on Monday.
This is one of the main access roads. So immediately the team will come back, and that's from the Community Development Department, etc. Housing, to work with those persons who are occupying on the reserve, because we need much wider use of the current road that this is. You see the traffic that is flowing here. And so this road actually helps to ease some of the traffic from going on to Sherry Street. We have a new housing scheme that is opening at the back here, which is one of the main point of access for the Cummins lot 1767, 1768. So we'll work immediately with those persons here to have a relocation and removal on the reserve itself, following our process.
The ministers also interacted with the residents and addressed their concerns. Minister Indar said that the Blacker Bridge will be replaced with a new composite structure, which will include steel beams.
We will definitely have some immediate interventions, and we have to look at what envelope of spending we have to see how much we can do, when we can do it, and how we can stagger the implementation of the work. But I can tell you, this bridge is a main thing. Some of the streets, they need immediate intervention. Our government philosophy is that every community will be uplifted, so we have to make sure that we do our part here. And Minister Kwame and Minister Uniji are leading in this community, and I'm just here to support them in everything that I can do.
The verification process to move ahead with the disbursement of steel and cement for home builders could begin as early as next week. This was disclosed by Housing and Water Minister Colin Crowell during an interview with DPI. The steel and cement initiatives were initially announced by President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali earlier this year. It will see homeowners benefiting from government support of steel and 1 sling of cement for homes under $6 million. They will also benefit from 2 slings of cement if they're aiming to build homes between $6 and $25 million.
The implementation stage is going smoothly. In fact, we have over 1,900 persons who have uplifted forms to be able to benefit from that program. In terms of persons who are able now to move to the next phase. We have over 230 such persons, for which in the new week we will commence the investigative stage.
He explained that any Guyanese citizen in possession of land can qualify for this initiative, granted that they have a pre-approval in the form of their construction plan. Residents from various communities in Mabaruma sub-region will soon have better access to water services following the drilling of several wells. Housing and Water Minister Colin Crowell recently conducted an assessment at several Guyana Water Incorporated GWI substations in the sub-region.
I want to assure them we have a plan and that we have already put some measures in place to correct this. So what do I mean? In the first quarter of 2023, which is only a few months away, we'll be sending a rig that is currently in the Matikai sub-region to drill a number of wells. And these include within Canhill, as well as for Mabruma settlement.
A new well will be drilled within the Wauna community since the residents are currently accessing water from the Wanaina substation as well as Hosororo. Additionally, the Wanaina substation will be linked to the electrical grid to increase service hours for water as the government continues to push the hinterland electrification program.
I want to assure persons within the Mabruma municipality vicinity that or those constituencies that to assure them in a few months they will be receiving larger pumping hours of water and even improved level of service, because we are also connecting the system that is going to be at Barabina. That Barabina system will be connected to Komaka in 2023 as part of our program.
More than $1.5 billion has been invested by the PPPC government to increase access to safe, clean and reliable water in the hinterland and riverine communities throughout the country. Tourism stakeholders from all across the country gathered in the mining town of Linden on Tuesday for the launch of Tourism Awareness Month, which is being observed under the theme All Sectors, One Tourism. Prime Minister Brigadier Mark Phillips, while delivering the feature address, noted that tourism over recent times has been establishing itself as a major contributor to Guyana's gross domestic product. He noted too that because of the tremendous potential for this sector, the PPPC administration has planned a major focus on the development of the sector.
Our government has always placed tourism as a priority, given its development potential and Guyana's natural portfolio. Moreover, as Guyana continues to attract attention from the wider world, we have already committed to investing in our people through capacity building in hospitality management, quality assurance, and other critical areas that we prepare for as we prepare for an influx of tourists ready to take in the magic of destination Guyana.
Tourism Minister Onij Walron in her speech noted that the government is on a path to create opportunities for all, and it is reflected in the launching of Tourism Month in Linden Region 10. This, she said, will increase the national and international profile for the region and bring economic benefits. At the opening of the annual leadership training for Amerindian Village Councils, Amerindian Affairs Minister Pauline Sukai has called on Amerindian leaders to practice good governance and financial accountability in light of reports of financial irregularities at village councils. The Amerindian Affairs Minister also stressed the need for capital projects funded by the government to be completed within a deadline stipulated.
If you do bad, it's reflective on the ministry, that the ministry is not doing well also. And so financial accountability is directly linked to us. The law itself speaks to the village council submitting annually to the minister a financial statement. I would appeal to all the leaders who are here to start to practice that.
According to Minister Sukai, as Guyana undergo transformation, it is the responsibility of leaders to enhance their knowledge and capacity. The training was held under the theme, Accountability for Good Governance. Amerindian leaders from Regions 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10 will be trained in governance, roles and responsibilities of village councils in accordance with the Amerindian Act, Financial Management and Accountability Act, among other responsibilities. Similar training programs will be rolled out in hinterland regions over the course of the month. On Thursday, 66 2000 treasurers from Regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10 completed a 2-day leadership training program. Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, and Minister of Amerindian Affairs, Pauline Sukai, presented certificates to the participants. Dr. Singh reminded the leaders that they are servants of their electorate and must be attentive to their needs. Government officials have been conducting outreaches in various communities to get a first-hand look at the priorities of the communities.
We consider this to be part of accountable governance. And accountable governance is good governance. And in the same manner, you have an obligation constantly to be attentive to the priorities, problems, concerns, and views of the people you serve.
The Home Affairs Ministry, in collaboration with the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, on Friday, concluded its Citizen Security Strengthening Program, CSSP. The program started officially in December 2015 with the aim of addressing crime and violence in Guyana through community and institution-based approaches. It targeted violent and nonviolent behaviors, conflict resolution, and anger management, primarily among youth, capacity strengthening programs for the Guyana Police Force, and institutional strengthening and modernization of the Guyana Prison Service. It supports the government's commitment to take in more preventative and rehabilitative approaches to crime fighting rather than a traditional punitive approach.
At all levels of the ministry and the wider government, we have to have a more empathetic approach. We have to have an approach which relies more on knowledge and skills. We have to be multi-skilled. We have to be able to respect each other more.
Minister Ben stated that education and training in relation to violence, especially domestic violence, care of prisoners, and youth support in vulnerable communities are especially important, and as such, those areas were targeted by the CSSP. The CSSP initiative saw over 1,200 youth benefiting from specialized skills training to reduce the likelihood of antisocial behavior, and over 3,000 members of the Guyana Police Force receiving sensitivity training for domestic and gender-based violence. Under the initiative, a number of inmates will receive ICT training as well.